totally no, but okay. So, remember when I was saying this? So, we did reach the solution. The solution for the problem in this arc is killing the Shinju now. Specifically, it's not killing the Shinju, it's getting the soul thorns. They did introduce that new element, just as I knew they would in this chapter. And that new element isn't killing the Shinju, it's not Borushiki, it's actually a new element. It is the soul thorns. So that's the solution.
Yeah.
Which means based on screenwriting, we can get Momoshiki, but Momoshiki isn't the solution for anything. Momoshiki's just gonna happen if he happens. I'm not even confident Momoshiki's gonna happen anymore. Because of this.
What if he's the solution to something different? He's not the solution to saving Sasuke, but what if he's the solution to getting Jiraiya to go away?
Well, I was gonna say Kawaki's omnipotence, but I think Jiraiya's gonna go away because of the Soul Thorn nonsense now.
But didn't he just say he's gonna kill Boruto?
It's gonna lead to it, though, is what I mean.
Not gonna kill him if you...
Like, the reason he's eventually is gonna go away is going to have to do with the Soul Thorn, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
As a small question that we want to elaborate on, which would you prefer? Jiraiya consumes that soul thorn like Momoshiki, powers up, does whatever it does. Or Jiraiya uses it to bring Hidari back, whether it's by feeding it to a claw grab or whatever mechanic. Which do you prefer?
I want him to bring him back, but I don't want him to have to use some stupid soul thorn.
I want to. So, for a lot of reasons, I like the idea of Jiraiya, 20 chapters from now, no, 50 chapters from now, consuming Hidari like that. Totally fine, but not now. Yeah. Bring him back.
Yeah,
that's my hope, and my hope is that it's like, he just feeds it to a claw grind or whatever the hell he's got to do, plants it in the ground. I don't care. The point is, use that thing. And bring him back.
It's like Sasuke seems like such a long-term goal. Why would they resolve that in this first arc? Keep Sasuke in the tree, bro.
Well, there's a lot of reasons. Again, that's a bigger thing. So
yeah.
I'm desperately clinging to, because we'll have I think we can do a whole podcast on Hidari at this point. So I guess for now we'll hold off, but
because
long story short, please don't get rid of Hidari yet.
Yeah, because like we were saying, our worst possible realistic thing happened where they just did beat up Hidari and they just killed him.
Yeah. Like, well, hopefully not, but potentially. And again, I'm trying not to say too much because it's a whole stream. But if Hidari is dead, they have ruined Hidari. And he was a waste of time. Because briefly speaking, there really was no point in Hidari. If Jiraiya consumes him now, why not just have Jiraiya start with everybody consumed? Like, he just is possessing their chakra to begin with. There's no point of Hidari if they do that anyway. Literally no point. Because it's not like they did anything to the Sasuke dynamic, right? So, among other things. The thorn soul of Hidari. It's protecting Hidari. So that's what I'm thinking. Hidari isn't dead so long as that fruit-looking thing is not doing whatever Boruto was going to do with it.
Oh, no, absolutely. Like, I expect through the soul thorn, it's expected that Hidari is going to come back through it in some regard. It's about how. It doesn't even matter how.
Consumes it.
Yeah. Okay, so Invincible...
It doesn't matter how, as long as Jiraiya doesn't eat it and get rid of Hidari. Yeah. As long as he doesn't do that.
Invincible... There's no way they're going to do that. But because that's our...
They will, bro, because it is eerily similar to the Momoshiki scene. It does feel like a reference.
I know, bro. And because it's the worst thing they realistically could do, we're on a roll with guessing that, and... Feels like they're just gonna do that.
I mean, like, yeah, like We said there's no possible way they would do the time skip when they did it. We said there's no possible way that Boruto will just skip over story beats and not lose. That's what happened. So I'm just like,
well, okay.
kind of doing this thing to where it's like he's picking whatever the anti-story beat option. So I'm.
Jura makes no sense. Nothing makes sense, bro.
I mean, I will say right now, I'm just banking on the idea that Hidari's gonna be brought back. If he's not brought back, I'm just like, what's the freaking
Immeasurable.
Like Wendy's? My disappointment is immeasurable. That thing, yeah. I'm gonna be that guy.
And my day is ruined. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Like,
listen.
that's gonna be. I gotta remember to use that meme.
Listen, there's no way Hidari's just permanently gone. And that's what scares me the most.
I'm telling you, bro, there is no way. Yeah, I feel confident that there's like decent chance. But again, we've said that about so many things, and they've just done it. So like,
but Hidari is literally unresolved. His story isn't done, let alone his connection with other character story. You literally can't write him out, which is why I'm worried.
Exactly. Because it feels like something they would do.
So I already have my most realistic worst next month chapter prediction. It is that we're just gonna do that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And you know, and like again, it feels like there's no way they could do it. The big problem that makes me feel like they could do it is, besides the fact that, like, you know, I just don't trust them. It's the eerie parallel to Momoshiki eating Kinshiki.
I know.
It feels like that. Feel like that moment. And you know what? It makes sense for a Ten Tails to devour things. You know, it just disregarding unresolved Hidari, that does feel reasonable. It does feel like that could be the end of Hidari. You know what I mean? Like, I could see that being his finale, but only after his character's resolved.
Especially considering Sarada defeated him, and so he had a fully resolved arc. He was father-daughter defeated by the legacy Uchiha member who stood on business, and now Jura, being the peak way he's gonna be, Mello's gonna finagle that, wrapping up the culmination of everything we've seen up to this point, because it's hype and epic. He's gonna consume him and transform, just like the peak Otsutsuki, Momoshiki, and Kinshiki, who have actually been peak all along. Can't wait to see how he gets his way out of this one. Exactly, yeah.
I mean, the never mind Hidari, it's just Hidari himself. Hidari didn't do anything for Sarada's character. Nothing. She did not change in 1% regards. Nothing happened. So if he's dead, not only did Hidari not do anything for himself, he did nothing for any character. He would be the most pointless character ever created if he died right now. Like, I will never seen a more pointless plot point character if they kill Hidari like this.
And this is
literally would be the worst character in fiction.
And again, this is the plot point to where they just would do that because they're doing the solution. It's the freaking soul thorn.
And it's also like the surprise shocking twist of the arc, assuming this. Oh yeah, I never got into this. So
the midpoint. This is the actual midpoint.
The second battle, surprise failure, kind of just like, this doesn't feel like a failure on Boruto's part. If it was, this is where I get into the maybe this is the midpoint. It could be a false victory before the story shifts in a new direction. Assuming this arc is way longer than we expected and the pacing just a little bit weird, but if Act 2 is being dragged out, as a hypothetical, that could work in terms of the whole, Boruto losing the second battle aspect. it doesn't solve the Hidari problems that we already said, but it could solve one structure problem at least. But otherwise, yeah, Boruto just didn't lose this battle. There's no flaw that made him lose. He just randomly got off guarded. It's just a shocking twist, but without the defeat before that. You know, we just skipped. We basically skipped from the midpoint to a shocking twist without anything in between. Because Boruto never had his introspection moment after the midpoint. We skipped over that. I guess we got the second battle, but like not properly.
Nah, bro.
So,
I don't know. It just feels like this is just going into Act 3.
Exactly, like this twist feels like it's going in Act 3. I agree, unless it was, but it feels like it's going in Act 3. I completely agree, which means we messed up Act 2. But because we're going to the shocking twist, I mean, you could say maybe him reviving Hidari is the shocking twist, and that's why it's a surprise failure. Would you count that?
I mean, surprise failure, he got sniped. He didn't get the
Nah, bro.
thing.
That ain't a failure, though. See, that's not a surprise failure.
It's
That's
his
just
first
a
L of the
surprise.
whole series.
Which is factually wrong.
So it's not the sniping factor, it's the fact that his whole goal, as we now know, wasn't necessarily to defeat Hidari, it was to get the Soul Thorn to save Sasuke. That's been his goal, to save Sasuke. And that is Boruto's goal, seemingly, in this arc now. I'm pretty steadfast on that. It's not to save the villagers, it's not to save the village, it's to save Sasuke. That's his goal.
It's what he told Sarada. He's gonna, like, save... Yeah, he said he's gonna save Sasuke to Sarada in Chapter 5. Or Chapter 6. So, that works.
With that being the case, again, it's just like not being able to stop the Ten Tails was a failure. He didn't need to lose a physical fight. That was his goal, and he failed. So just like that, his goal was to retrieve the Soul Thorn. He failed to do so. Surprisingly. So surprise failure.
But, like, it just doesn't feel... I mean, yeah, it just doesn't... Yeah, but, like, it doesn't really feel like Boruto faced a failure because of a flaw he needs to confront himself and overcome. He just... Surprise!
I mean, he needs to confront,
like, what's the
and overcome
moment from this failure? Because that's the problem. The point is, this failure is supposed to lead to a growth moment. What does Boruto learn from this failure?
So you're gonna hate this.
Oh no! Better be on guard.
You're gonna hate this.
That's like character growth.
You're gonna hate this.
I'm sure.
You're gonna hate this because it works in the worst way possible. Boruto is blind to his actions considering his words. His words is that he's saying what Ada said, is that he has to embrace omnipotence, let go of his past. But his actions are he's trying to save Sasuke. So what he needs to do to grow and overcome is he needs to let go of Sasuke. let him be a tree and die.
Okay, but
here's
the... No, this is why this doesn't work, though. This is why this doesn't work. Let's say he does that. There is no reason not the final battle. Just let Jiraiya go away. Just avoid Jiraiya. You don't need to save Sasuke. You don't need the thorn.
Well, he hasn't realized that yet is the thing. Because that's why he was sniped in the first place, because he's still trying to get the Soul Thorn. If he wasn't trying to get it, he never would have been sniped.
No, but I'm saying, but afterwards, when we get into the final battle, when Boruto learns he needs to let go of Sasuke, he's just going to fight Jiraiya. It doesn't feel like that coincides with the final battle. Because if his thing is he needs to let go of Sasuke, that's going to help him beat Jiraiya. Beating Jiraiya lets him get Sasuke back. This doesn't work with the flaw overcoming aspect, because the final battle would end up right where he started, meaning his character growth is pointless because he's just going to save Sasuke. So what was the point of learning to let go of Sasuke?
Well, maybe, again, he doesn't have to literally physically defeat Jura in the final battle. Because, like, the whole point of the final battle is that he hasn't let go of Sasuke yet. So he does the final battle. He defeats Jura by letting go of Sasuke. What does that mean? Maybe he does an attack that would destroy both Jura and the Soul Thorn at the same time. Or he could do a thing to where he attacks specifically the Soul Thorn to where the Soul Thorn needs to heal or something, so Jura has to retreat. Or he could just do something to make Jura retreat.
So, all right. Under this
giving up on Sasuke.
Maybe, I guess, but I was going to say, under the hypothetical, the first one, he has to destroy Jura and the Soul Thorn. Whoop-de-doo. Now Jura and Hidari are dead. Are we really going to be happy about that? No. So this alternative is he's going to destroy the Soul Thorn to make Jura retreat. Is that going to make Jura retreat, or is that just going to piss him off and make him want to kill Boruto more?
We need more information. Listen, Kamui, all I know this works because plot point 23 isn't victory. It's unexpected victory. So Boruto has to win in an unexpected way. Not only that, plot point 24, not just reflection, bittersweet reflection. Doesn't that sound like giving up on Sasuke? Because he's like, oh man, because I was so focused on Sasuke, I almost let go of Sasuke's legacy. Sarada is the one person who he wanted me to protect.
I agree with what you're I agree with what you're saying, but my fear is that means we just get rid of Jura in this arc too. That's the problem. So that's just gonna, while this quote unquote solves the first problem, it creates an even worse second problem.
Listen. We're gonna do the gambling thing to where every time we lose, we double it until we win, inevitably making our money back. So we're just gonna push off a problem into a bigger problem, snowballing it into the finale. It's only a problem then. There's only one problem, and it's series ruining, but there's only one.
And at the end of the series, when they do it, we're going to be rich from all the money we made back.
I mean, it feels like that's what they did with Boruto, Naruto Next Generations. Moved the problem till the very last one. It's the biggest one of all.
You know what? You got a point. And they've only been building it from there. It's exponentially growing.
Oh my god. So this end can work.
It's a scary world we live in.
If Boruto... So, okay. Jura leaves, however he leaves, without realizing Boruto's reflection resolution that Boruto's given up on the Soul Thorn and he's just here to protect Sarada now. So Jura would have a misunderstanding, which leads to the tragedy, which leads to conflict of them continuing to fight based on this misunderstanding. So they don't even have a reason to fight, but they themselves don't realize it from each other. Because of who they are and the direction they're moving in. Yeah. I hate it, but that's possible.
I hate that it's possible.